Welcome to MacroCode. If you're new to this channel, consider subscribing. So today we are going to proceed with our help desk management system. So I'm going to sign in to our application. So as you can see, this is our dashboard. We have the total tickets, the urgent tickets, the closed tickets, escalated tickets, and even some of the comments. So on the landing page, we have the number of tickets, the title, description, priority status, created by and created on, and you also have the number of comments per ticket. So on this other end, you'll be able to see we have the recent tickets, we have the assigned tickets, resolved tickets, and the closed tickets. So to add a ticket, you'll just open a new ticket, just click new, add the title, then the description of the ticket, the priority of the ticket category, and the ticket subcategory, then attach a document and even save. So you can see these are some of the tickets that we've saved. Then on the action, you're able to have the comments for that particular ticket. And also we are able to have the details. So these will give us the details of the ticket. So you can see the ticket details, the ticket comments, and the ticket history. Then within the ticket also, you can actually reopen a ticket that had been closed. So you can see we provide the ticket comments here. So you say this was not addressed. So if you do that and click reopen ticket, then the ticket will be reopened. So as you can see now, if we go back to the recent tickets, we'll have this ticket reopened. So then you have the ticket comments. So this will give us all the comments of the ticket. So you can see the description of the comment, the ticket created on. Then you have the categories of the tickets. So you can add a new category if you want. And also you have the subcategories. Then we also have the audit trail. So these are all the audits that are happening. Every time you create something, it is able to log. Then you have the system users. These are all the users within our application. And you have the system codes and the system code details. Then you have the system roles and the department. So what I want us to do today, I want us to do something on our dashboard. So I want us to introduce something called Highcharts. So we are going to introduce Highcharts on our application. We are going to now represent some of the items here on to visualize them in terms of graphs. So click on demo. So you're going to demo, then you'll be able to see various graphs that we can actually utilize. So you can see here, we have a lot of graphs that we can utilize. So one, we have this particular line graph. So let me just click on it. Then we also have the pie charts. So let me just refresh. So we also have the pie charts. So this is the line graph. So you can see this is the line graph, user, US solar employment, growth, and we have the number of years. You can also do pie charts. So if I just do here pie charts with the legend, if I click on it, so let me just click on pie chart. Let me just do pie charts and refresh. So if I refresh, we'll be able to have the pie charts here. So what I want us to do now on today's video, I want us to introduce these charts to our application. Then you'll be able to see how we can actually utilize them. So let's go back to our code. So on these pie charts, you can actually see various charts within this particular application, and you can actually pick the one that you want to utilize. For example, this with legend. Then down here, you'll be able to see something called view code or copy code. If you click view code, it will show you the code that is there, and you can also check it on Fiddle. So if you click on Fiddle, then it will actually open for you the chart and even some of the and the graph that you should be able to see. So what I want us to do today, you can see this is the graph and these are the code and these are the styles. So I want us to copy some of the code and we are going to utilize it. So as you can see, this is the div of our application where the graph will be placed. So let's just go back to our index. So under home, just down after the tickets, so this is the div, and you can see this all of it. So what I want us to do, I want us to introduce another div here. So I'm going to do div, then I'm going to do class row. So I can do class row. Then here I'm going to do div class, then equals to, I can do call md12. So I'll do 6. Then inside here, this is where now I'm going to have my containers. So I'll do that. So I can say first, so I'll say pie chart 1. I can say pie chart 2. Then I'm going to copy this. I can also do another one here. You can say line chart 1. So I'll say line chart 1. Then I'm also going to say line chart 2. So you can have maybe 2 graphs there. So once we have that, there is one thing that we need to ensure that we have, and this is the styles. So you can see this, we have the styles. So here, this is the styles. So I'm going to copy those JavaScripts, go to our layout. So that is our shared layout. Then I'm going to add it on our scripts down here. So I'm going to place it down here. So let me just do this. Then down here, I'm going to add it. So if I do that, you can see I've now added Highcharts, JavaScripts, exporting all these styles. Then we have, you see these styles here. So we can also check another style, for example, like line chart. So if we do line chart, you'll be able to see. If we also go to fiddle, you'll also be able to see, or you can do even code open. So if you go to fiddle, you'll be able to see we have these same styles here. So I'm going to copy these styles. So I'll just copy this. Then I want us to go to our application and www root, then assets. Then I'm going to introduce another, we can say CSS. Let's just do CSS. Then you can add another called Highcharts. So I'm going to add another CSS file called Highcharts. So I'll do new item. Then I'm going to pick a CSS style. So here I'll just pick, so let me just check. So this one, style sheet. So I'll just say Highcharts. So if I do that, then it will add Highcharts styles. Then I'm going to add what I've copied. So you see, all this is what I've copied. So we need now to include this to our application. So I'm going to layout. Then under the styles here, I'm going to copy it now. I'll just copy one of these. Then down here, I'm going to say our styles is from assets, CSS. Then what we need is the highcharts.css. So I'm going to include this one here. So that is it, and we now have our graph. So if we so let's just go back to our, so I'm going to open fiddle again. I think I had closed my, so let me just open pie chart. That is area chart. I can also do pie chart, and I can also do bar graphs. So let's just do bar graphs. So this is our pie chart. So let's just open fiddle. So I'm going to open this one, and I'm going to open fiddle. So this will give us the styles. So the one thing that I want us to do is I want us to copy this graph here. Then let's go back to our application. So on our application, we are going to home. So let's just go back to home under index. Then I want us to paste it down here. So here I'm going to do style type. I'll do JavaScript. So these ones should be script actually. Then I'll do type. Type should be JavaScript. Then I'm going to close it here, and I can place this inside. So this one will now give us some data based on the values that have been hard-coded here. But I want us to change that. So this will call this pie chart 1. So if I do that, if I do this, I'm going to place you see this container, I'm going to replace it with the name called pie chart 1. So I'm going now to relaunch our application. We should be able to see a pie chart on our application. So let's just relaunch. So remember now we've just hard-coded the values, but we'll be actually having them with the correct numbers. So let's just do that. So as our application launch, so for those who are new to this channel, consider subscribing, like our video, and subscribe. So I'm going to sign into the application, and what I'm expecting here is I'm expecting a graph. So we are not able to see that. Why? So if we do this, if we inspect our application, so we should also be able to see if we are actually on index, or which page should we be going. So we have the departments, index, shared, and tickets. Then you have the users. So under areas, we only have the pages. So this is where we should be having our. So let's just go back to our console. So if we go here, we should be able to see whether we have an issue here. So network, let's just see if our resources are being pulled. Console elements. So let's just confirm. So after the recent tickets, just before the recent tickets, let's just check if we have our, you see this is the pie chart. So this pie chart, we should actually have it here. So let's just confirm. So here we have this pie chart, and we have our bar. So we have this row ID is that one. So what we should ensure is we have these styles on our index page. So if I just refresh our application, let me just relaunch. So we have this, and we have our container. So I've renamed this container 1. We have our pie chart, and we have our folders at the top here. So we have the container. So if we relaunch our application, we will be having, so you can see we now have our graph for tickets, but these are actually dummy data. So let me just go back to our graph. So we can actually remove the title here. So I'm going to remove this particular title. So where is it? So this one. I'm going to remove this. Then you just leave the graph with it. So the next thing is I'm going to add a bar graph. So you can actually pick some of the bar graphs that you have seen on that particular page. So I'm going to replace it here. So I'm going to have this is my 2. So you can choose the kind of graph that you want. So if I update my app, then I'll have my 3 graphs here. So let's just wait and see. So there you go. So you can see I have my first graph, this is the second, and this is the third. But I want it to be in the same row. So I'll have these in 2 different rows. So I'll just come here. So I'm going to do, so this div card body. So I'm going to, I'll do this is, I'll just add here div class row. So I'll do here row. I'll do row. Then I can do TAV class MD6. Then here I'm going to close these two. So this one will be closing that. I need to close another one. This one will be closing that. So this is it. So I can now reuse this. I can replace it here. Then I'll just name this as 2. I can also replace this here, and I can name this as 3. So this is how my graph should look like. So if I update, I want to have 2 columns, that is a single row with 2. So you can see I have this particular graph and this one. So let me try to minimize the styles so that we have, so I can remove all these. So I can just leave the card body. Yes, do that. Then I can remove all this. So I have that. Then I can also remove these up to here. So then this one, I remove all this. Then also this one, I can remove card to there. Then I can do away with all this. Then here I can copy this, replace it here, and I can say this is 4. So let's just see where our graph now ends. Then I can remove this. So if I format it, let me try to format. So if I format it, if you go back to the DIVs, you'll notice that we now have this. So this is a single row with all these particular options. So I'm going to refresh our app. So there we go. So this is how now my graph looks like. So I have four graphs. So I have this one and I have this one. So I can actually replace one. So let's just go back to our demo. We pick another graph. So let's say 3D charts. So we can do, let's say, a pie chart, which is 3D. So as you can see, these are some of the charts. So I'm going to pick this one. So I'm going to open that. Then I'm going to replace it with one of the graph. So I'm going to copy this. So I'm going to copy this. So let me just copy this. Then I can come down here and I'm going to add it. So I'm going to add this here. Then I'll call it, so this one I can call it 3. So I'll call this 5. Then I can call this 3. So if we do that, update my app. So let's just see how the graph will look like. So yeah, so there's something wrong. So I'm going to do here container. So I'll say this is container 3. Then I can do this 4, then 5. So let's just add another DIV. Then we'll be able to see if you can do away with 1. So I'm going to add this here. Then I can say this is 5. So if we update, then we will have our chart, 3D chart. So you can see, so this is the normal chart, but we want it to be 3D. So we need to add some styles. So let's just go back to our styles. So you see we have this JavaScript, which is 3D.js. So I'm going to add it here. So I'm going to add it here. Then I'm also going to add it on our layout. So I'm going to add it here. So if we update, then I'm going to see my graph changing. There you go. So you can see we now have my 3D graph. So we can actually rename some of these graphs. So we can say, if we go back to the index, the first graph, you can see the title. So you can say total number of tickets per status. So that is the title that we'll be having. So if we update, so you can actually see. So our status will change. So you see this is the total number of tickets per status. On this other end, you can also say tickets per number of tickets per status as well. You can say number of tickets per status. Then we can also do something else. You can say tickets per category. So if we update this, then our graph will change. So we'll have the number of, so we can do away with these subtitle. So let's just go back to our application here. Then we can remove the subtitle. You see this? This is actually the subtitle. So I'm going to do away with it. So if I update it, then our graph will actually change with only the title. So let's just go back. You can see we have the title only. So you can actually change these and you can say maybe number of tickets per category. Then the next one, we can say number of tickets per subcategories. So let's just do that. So this is so I'm also going to do away with the subtitle. Then you can say tickets, number of tickets per So you can do number of tickets per subcategory. So that is it. So if we do that, then you'll see we now have the number of tickets per subcategory. Then let me just replace this here with this one. So I'm going to replace number 4. So I'll call this 4. Then I'll do away with this one. Then if I do away with that one, then I'm going to remove one of the container. So I'm going to remove this. So if we update, so we'll be having only 4 graphs. So let's just update and see. So there you go. So we now have our graph here. So you can say number of tickets per status or per category. So you can say number of tickets per category. So I'm going to do that. So I'll say here number of tickets per category. So if we do that, I'm also going to remove the subtitle, update, then we should be having now our graphs. So you can see now we have our graph. So I can actually alternate this graph and this one. I think I like the 3D graph to be the first one. So I'll just do, so let's just go here and I'm going to interchange this. So I'm going to say this is, I'll just copy it here and have it at the top. So here I'll do, this will be the first graph. So I'll do this one. Then the one, I'll move it down to be graph number 4. So I'll just move it down here. and this will be graph number 4. So this is graph number 4. So if I update the app, I'll now be having my graph at the top, and as you can see, this will be my application now. So as you can see, this is how we've now integrated our app with charts. So the only thing that is pending is to make these numbers make sense. So I think I'm going to leave it there for today, just for you guys to integrate your application with the charts. Then we'll now be making our tickets actually translate to these numbers. So that is it for today. If you're new to this channel, consider subscribing and see you in our next video. Bye.